Good evening, Mr. President. May I have your permission to commence the ceremony, sir? Ladies and gentlemen, the President will now deliver his speech.
In Singapore's 60th year of independence, we have just held a profoundly important general election. GE 2025 was a moment of generational significance. Prime Minister Lawrence Wong, with his 4G team, was seeking the mandate of Singaporeans to lead our nation for the first time. The results of the election were a strong vote of trust and confidence in him as well as his team. GE 2025 also marked a further transition in the electorate itself. Many were younger voters. They had lived through neither the struggles nor the transformations of our first few decades of independence, of nation building. But they have their own concerns and carry their own aspirations and hopes for what Singapore can become. In this election, Singaporeans were choosing not just their representatives in Parliament or the town councillors who would look after their neighbourhoods, but also the political leadership who will write the next chapter of the Singapore story with them. The campaign was spirited. Important issues were debated, from the cost of living and jobs to housing and immigration, as well as the challenges of a changing world. But beyond the specific concerns, Singaporeans expressed their views on the political landscape they wished to see. They preferred the strongest team possible to govern Singapore, even as they chose to maintain alternative voices in Parliament. They also reflected on the kind of society they wished to build, one rooted in shared purpose and inclusivity. I'm heartened that through it all, our democratic process remained decorous and respectful. Unlike many other places where political divisions have hardened and even turned people against each other, we have upheld a tone of mutual respect and serious engagement. Singaporeans showed that while we may hold different views, we are all fellow citizens who want the best for our nation. We all stood firm against foreign interference in our domestic affairs and the politicization of race and religion. Together, we were resolute in upholding our autonomy, our multiracialism, and our unity. Singaporeans and the contesting parties have accepted the election results with good grace. It reflects the trust that Singaporeans have in our institutions, in the democratic process, and most of all, in one another. I commend all the political parties and candidates who stepped forward to serve. They committed their time, energy, and ideas, and courageously opened themselves to public scrutiny. I commend all Singaporeans too, who followed the campaigns and reflected on the issues carefully and cast their votes thoughtfully and responsibly. Ultimately, Singapore and Singaporeans were the winners in this election. Together, we have set the course for our next phase of nation building. We have also sent a strong signal to the world of our unity and collective resolve in shaping our own future. We have to be clear-eyed about the challenges ahead. Globally, we have entered uncharted waters where many old verities no longer hold. Strategic rivalries between the major powers are deepening, the global economy is fragmenting, and multilateralism is steadily eroding. Narrower, more nationalistic, and opportunistic approaches to trade and diplomacy are taking hold. More than most, small states like Singapore will feel the weight of these geopolitical cross-currents. Our well-being has always depended on a stable, rules-based international order. That order is unraveling, forcing us to adapt and find new ways to remain in control of our destiny and hold together as a people with our values intact. There is no telling whether this global disorder will eventually subside, but there is no returning to the world we knew over our first 60 years of nationhood. Domestically too, we must respond to long-term challenges with careful forethought and bold actions. Our population is steadily aging. This will reshape our workforce, our health and community care systems, and the fabric of neighborhood life. We have to adapt to this demographic shift in ways that retain our optimism as a society. At the same time, we must prepare for an increasingly challenging economic future. This means, above all, investing creatively in education, skills training, and lifelong learning so that every Singaporean has the full chance to do well and contribute, and we build new sources of competitiveness together. These are not just challenges for the government. They are challenges for all of us as Singaporeans. Our best hope of overcoming them lies in unity and solidarity. We must continue to stand together, regardless of race or religion, so that our diversity continues to be our strength, not a vulnerability. We must remain a people whose well-being is tied up with each other's and who look out for those who are disadvantaged. This spirit of solidarity has sustained Singapore for 60 years. It is how we endured crisis after crisis. May this same spirit continue to guide us for many years to come. I urge all members of Parliament, whether government or opposition, to remember the solemn responsibility you have been entrusted with. You have been elected to serve Singapore and Singaporeans. Debate in Parliament with conviction, but always with respect. Argue your case vigorously, but never compromise on honesty and integrity. Critique policies robustly, but also offer alternatives for evaluation. Above all, remember that you all share the same ultimate goal: to build a fulfilling and cohesive future for Singaporeans. GE 2025 has given Singapore a strong and capable government led by Prime Minister Lawrence Wong. His team is a good balance of experienced leaders and new members, a combination of wisdom, fresh perspectives, and deep resolve. They have been tested in crises and shown their ability to govern with integrity, empathy, and courage. Mr. Wong himself has shown calm and confident leadership at the helm through COVID-19, through the Forward Singapore conversations, and in now reinforcing the trust of our partners abroad in these uncertain times. With the election over, Singaporeans should work together with the government of the day for a brighter future. I encourage the Prime Minister and his team to continue listening, consulting widely, and partnering with Singaporeans from all walks of life, our workers, businesses, and those in civil society, as we address both the issues of today and the longer-term challenge of creating hope and opportunity for every generation. Ladies and gentlemen, I have full confidence in Prime Minister Wong and his team. As President, I stand ready to work with them to uphold our Constitution and to protect the interests of all Singaporeans. Prime Minister, the people of Singapore have placed their trust in you and your team. I wish the very best for you and your government as you work with Singaporeans to take our nation forward in these turbulent times. I now ask Prime Minister Lawrence Wong to come forward to take his oaths of allegiance and for due execution of office, followed by the ministers he has designated as members of his cabinet.
Appointment and swearing in of the Prime Minister.
In accordance with Article 25(1) of the Constitution, I hereby appoint Mr. Lawrence Wong as Prime Minister of the Republic of Singapore. I now invite him to take his oath of allegiance and oath for due execution of office.
The Chief Justice will witness the oath of allegiance and for due execution of office. The oath of allegiance.
I, Lawrence Wong, having been appointed to the office of Prime Minister, do solemnly swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Singapore, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Singapore. So help me God.
The oath for due execution of office.
I, Lawrence Wong, being chosen and appointed as Prime Minister of Singapore, do solemnly swear that I will at all times faithfully discharge my duties as Prime Minister according to law and to the best of my knowledge and ability without fear or favor, affection or ill will. So help me God.
Signing of the oaths. Presentation of instrument of appointment. Appointment and swearing in of the ministers.
Mr. President, I advise that the ministers in my government be appointed in accordance with my letter of 20th May 2025.
I so appoint.
Swearing in of Senior Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, and coordinating ministers. The Chief Justice will now administer the affirmation of allegiance and the affirmation for due execution of office. The affirmation of allegiance.
I, having been appointed to the office of Minister,
I, Yan Kim Yong, having been appointed to the office of Minister,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Singapore
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Singapore,
and that I will preserve,
and that I will preserve,
protect, and defend
protect and defend
the Constitution of the Republic of Singapore.
the Constitution of the Republic of Singapore.
The affirmation for due execution of office.
I, please state your name,
I, Gan Kim Yong,
being chosen and appointed as Minister of Singapore,
being chosen and appointed as Minister of Singapore,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will at all times
that I will at all times
faithfully discharge my duties as Minister according to law
faithfully discharge my duties as Minister according to law
and to the best of my knowledge and ability,
and to the best of my knowledge and ability,
without fear or favor,
without fear or favor,
affection or ill will.
affection or ill will.
Signing of the affirmations. Presentation of instruments of appointment. Mr. Lee Hsien Loong, Senior Minister. Mr. Gan Kim Yong, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Trade and Industry. Mr. K. Shanmugam, Coordinating Minister for National Security and Minister for Home Affairs. Mr. Chan Chun Sing, Coordinating Minister for Public Services and Minister for Defense. Mr. Ong Yi Kang, Coordinating Minister for Social Policies and Minister for Health. Swearing in of the ministers. The Chief Justice will now administer the affirmation of allegiance and the affirmation for due execution of office. The affirmation of allegiance.
I, please state your name.
I,
Having been appointed to the office of Minister,
having been appointed to the office of Minister,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Singapore,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Singapore,
and that I will preserve,
and that I will preserve,
protect, and defend
protect, and defend
the Constitution of the Republic of Singapore,
the Constitution of the Republic of Singapore.
The affirmation for due execution of office.
I, please state your name,
I, Edwin Long,
being chosen and appointed as Minister of Singapore,
being chosen and appointed as Minister of Singapore,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will at all times
that I will at all times
faithfully discharge my duties as Minister according to law
faithfully discharge my duties as Minister according to law
and to the best of my knowledge and ability,
and to the best of my knowledge and ability,
without fear or favor,
without fear or favor,
affection or ill will.
affection or ill will. So help me God.
Signing of the affirmations. Presentation of instruments of appointment. Dr. Vivian Balakrishnan, Minister for Foreign Affairs. Ms. Grace Fu Haiyan, Minister for Sustainability and the Environment. Mr. Masagos Zulkifli, Minister for Social and Family Development. Mrs. Josephine Teo, Minister for Digital Development and Information. Mr. Desmond Lee, Minister for Education. Ms. Indrani Raja, Minister, Prime Minister's Office, Second Minister for Finance, and Second Minister for National Development. Mr. Edwin Tong, Minister for Law and Second Minister for Home Affairs. Dr. Tan Si Ling, Minister for Manpower. Mr. Chee Hong Tat, Minister for National Development. Swearing in of the Ministers of State. The Chief Justice will administer the affirmation of allegiance and the affirmation for due execution of office. The affirmation of allegiance.
I, please state your name. Having been appointed to the office of Minister, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Singapore, that I will preserve, protect and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Singapore.
The affirmation for due execution of office.
I, please state your name. Being chosen and appointed as Minister of Singapore, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will at all times faithfully discharge my duties as Minister according to law and to the best of my knowledge and ability, without fear or favor, affection or ill will.
Signing of the affirmations. Presentation of instruments of appointment. Mr. David Neo, Acting Minister for Culture, Community and Youth and Senior Minister of State, Ministry of Education. Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Faisal bin Ibrahim, Acting Minister in charge of Muslim Affairs and Senior Minister of State, Ministry of Home Affairs. Mr. Jeffrey Xiao, Acting Minister for Transport and Senior Minister of State, Ministry of Finance. Ms. Sim N, Senior Minister of State, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of Home Affairs. Dr. Janil Puthucheary, Senior Minister of State, Ministry of Education and Ministry of Sustainability and the Environment. Dr. Koh Poh Koon, Senior Minister of State, Ministry of Health and Ministry of Manpower. Mr. Zaki Mohammed, Senior Minister of State, Ministry of Defense and Ministry of Sustainability and the Environment. Mr. Tan Kit Hao, Senior Minister of State, Ministry of Digital Development and Information and Ministry of Health. Ms. Lo Yen Ling, Senior Minister of State, Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth and Ministry of Trade and Industry. Mr. Desmond Tan, Senior Minister of State, Prime Minister's Office. Mr. Murali Pillai, Senior Minister of State, Ministry of Law and Ministry of Transport. Ms. Sun Xue Ling, Senior Minister of State, Ministry of National Development and Ministry of Transport. Ms. Gan Xiaohuang, Minister of State, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and Ministry of Trade and Industry. Mr. Alvin Tan, Minister of State, Ministry of National Development, and Ministry of Trade and Industry. Madam Rahayu Mazam, Minister of State, Ministry of Digital Development and Information, and Ministry of Health. Mr. Dinesh Vasudesh, Minister of State, Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth, and Ministry of Manpower. Mr. Bae Yam King, Minister of State, Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth, and Ministry of Transport. Mr. Desmond Chu, Minister of State, Ministry of Defense. Ms. Jasmine Lau, Minister of State, Ministry of Digital Development and Information, and Ministry of Education. Mr. Goh Pei Ming, Minister of State, Ministry of Home Affairs, and Ministry of Social and Family Development. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, the Prime Minister.
Mr. President, friends and colleagues, my fellow Singaporeans, thank you for joining us tonight. Let me start with a few words in Malay and Mandarin before continuing in English. Saudara-saudari sekalian, pilihan raya umum baru-baru ini merupakan detik bersejarah bagi negara kita. Ia berlangsung pada tahun SG60 dan merupakan yang pertama bagi saya sebagai Perdana Menteri. Ini menandakan satu lembaran baharu untuk kita semua. Saya amat terharu dan berasa rendah hati dengan mandat jelas yang diberikan rakyat Singapura kepada saya dan pasukan saya. Dengan sokongan anda, saya telah membentuk pasukan yang terbaik untuk berkhidmat kepada anda dan negara kita. Saya telah memperkukuh pasukan saya dengan menaikkan pangkat dan melantik beberapa anggota baharu termasuk wakil-wakil masyarakat Melayu. Saya berharap anda akan terus memberikan sokongan padu kepada kami. Dunia sedang cepat berubah, akan terdapat berbagai-bagai cabaran. Namun, di sebaliknya akan tersaji peluang-peluang baharu. Saya dan pasukan saya akan memastikan semua rakyat Singapura siap siaga untuk merebut peluang-peluang ini. Kami akan terus mengeratkan hubungan kami dengan masyarakat Melayu Islam dan bekerjasama dengan anda untuk merealisasikan wawasan masyarakat gemilang. Kita hidup dalam masyarakat majmuk. Namun, kita rakyat yang bersatu, disatukan oleh nilai-nilai dan aspirasi yang kita kongsi bersama. Marilah kita bersatu untuk menjamin masa hadapan yang lebih cerah untuk semua. Terima kasih. 各位同胞，对新加坡来说，本月初举行的全国大选意义重大。今年是我国建国60周年，是时候回顾过去，展望未来。同时，外在的地缘政治发生巨大变化，动荡不安。在这个大环境下，新加坡人必须决定由哪一个团队带领新加坡前进，克服挑战。这次的大选结果说明，新加坡人清楚地认识到国家面对的严峻挑战，并为此做出了明确的选择，再次给了人民行动党强而有力的委托。这显示新加坡人上下一心，认同国家的发展方向。国人以手中的一票，让新加坡成为了本届大选的大赢家。这也是我出任总理以来的第一场大选，能够获得国人的信任，我感到十分荣幸。在此，我衷心感谢大家的支持和鼓励。有了选民清晰和有力的委托，我们将有信心为新加坡长远的发展进行更全面、更周详的规划。我已组建了一支具备强大执政能力的内阁团队，以便带领国人应对前面的挑战。其中几个关键的部门将继续由经验丰富的部长领导。第4代领导团队和首次入阁的新成员也将挑起大梁，身负重任。我们的领导团队必须不断更新换代，让新成员有机会累积经验，证明自己的能力，往后可以肩负更重大的责任。所以我们关注的不只是这个任期，而是长远来说，如何培养一批生力军，继续有效地为人民服务，领导国家前进。今后，我和我的团队将与国人进行更多互动，争取和大家同心同德，以便一起实现我们共同的目标和愿景。我希望大家积极发表意见，提出你们的想法。我保证，你们的心声、你们的建议，我们会一定细心的聆听，认真的对待。我们的观点未必相同，但我相信，只要我们都是以国家的利益为出发点，一定能够求同存异，减少分歧。新加坡的未来，由我们一起携手打造。我和我的团队会集思广益，和不同背景的国人交流，建设一个更有凝聚力的社会，让每一位新加坡人都能发挥所长，并得到应有的尊重。我希望大家能和我一起为新加坡的未来努力，让我们一同为自己、为家人以及世世代代的新加坡人打造一个更温馨的家园，一个更光明的未来。谢谢。Mr. President, friends and colleagues, my fellow Singaporeans, we've just concluded a pivotal general election. It took place during SG60, a major milestone in our nation-building journey. It unfolded amidst a world gripped by uncertainty and turbulence. And it was my first election as Prime Minister and Secretary General of the PAP. Singaporeans face some critical choices in this election. You had to decide the kind of future you wanted for yourselves, your families, and for Singapore. You had to choose the people you trust to be your town councillors and to represent you in Parliament. Most importantly, you had to decide on the team that would form the government and would work with you to write the next chapter of our Singapore story. Singaporeans have given me and my team a clear mandate. The PAP was returned to government with a strengthened majority of 65%. My team and I are humbled and honored by the trust you have placed in us. Singaporeans voted for a strong and stable government while re-electing opposition MPs in the constituencies they held. This outcome reflects the collective desire of Singaporeans. In these uncertain times, you understood what was at stake, our vulnerability and our future. You chose leaders you could trust, a government you could rely on, and a steady course for our nation's next phase of development. The international community and investors would have taken note of these outcomes. They would see a nation that is united, standing firmly behind its leaders, and placing confidence in a government with the strength and security to secure Singapore's place in an unpredictable world. The outcome leaves no room for doubt. No one in the world can question the resolve of Singaporeans and the government they have chosen. This is a clear advantage for Singapore, especially in the conduct of our foreign policy. For that, as your Prime Minister, I am deeply grateful to my fellow citizens. My government will use our mandate to serve all Singaporeans, regardless of race, language, religion, or political preference. This is our solemn duty. We will work tirelessly to improve the lives of every Singaporean. We will deliver on our promises. I have done my utmost to assemble the strongest team I could for Singapore. My new team comprises both experienced ministers who will provide steady hands and new ministers who will provide fresh perspectives and ideas. I have appointed 4 key cabinet ministers to assist me in my work: DPM Gan Kim Yong and coordinating ministers K. Shanmugam, Chan Chun Seng, and Ong Yi Kang. They will oversee 4 critical areas: the economy, national security, public services, and social policies. They bring a wealth of experience and leadership and will serve as a steady anchor for our government. Amongst the ministers, some will continue with their present roles, especially in key areas where continuity and stability are critical. But I've also assigned new roles to others, giving them the opportunity to broaden their exposures. At the same time, I have reinforced the team with 9 new office holders, including fresh faces from the election and experienced members from the backbench. I have entrusted them with significant responsibilities. They will be stretched and tested. They will learn the ropes and prove themselves in service to Singapore. Together as a team, we pledge to serve Singaporeans to the best of our abilities, with commitment and integrity, with sincerity and humility. We will work with you to solve problems, overcome challenges, and take Singapore forward. Our mission is clear: to always put Singaporeans at the center of all we do, to listen to your concerns, and to respond decisively. We begin this new term of government in a world that is more uncertain and unpredictable than before. The conditions that once underpinned our survival, security, and success are shifting beneath our feet. The rules-based international order, which form the foundation for peace, security, and free trade, is fraying. Multilateral cooperation is giving way to a tangle of bilateral and transactional deals where might often makes right. The major powers of the world are reassessing their strategies and shifting their positions to secure the upper hand. Competition is intensifying, and smaller countries risk being caught in the crossfire or being cut out of the conversation altogether. Singapore will not stand still. We cannot afford to be passive. We must be clear-eyed, proactive, and adapt nimbly to the shifting dynamics. Our first priority is to secure for Singapore an assured place in this changed world. We will deepen our relations with the major powers, especially America and China. We will stay friends with both without being caught in their rivalry. We will engage openly and honestly with each in a consistent and principled manner. Where our interests align, we will work with them. Where they do not, we will stand firm and protect Singapore's security and sovereignty. We will strengthen our ties with friends near and far and seek new ones in parts of the world like Africa and South America, where we do not as yet have much presence, and ensure Singapore remains a trusted, reliable, and respected voice on the global stage. In a world of shifting alliances, we will be a steady and constructive partner, one willing and able to contribute to peace and stability, to advance dialogue and fraternity, and support a rules-based global order. Our goal is not just to navigate this uncertain world, but to help shape it for the better by working with like-minded partners, upholding shared principles and values, so that small nations too have a place under the sun. We will steer our economy for the challenges ahead. We will review and update our economic strategies for this new landscape. We will work with tripartite partners to develop a new economic blueprint for our next phase, so that we can sustain our competitive edge and create good jobs for Singaporeans. In the near term, as global growth slows, we will continue to help businesses and households weather the storm. We will work closely with NTUC to support our workers and job seekers, so that every Singaporean who is prepared to work is able to secure a job and progress in their careers. We will press on with Forward Singapore to refresh and strengthen our social compact. This is critical not only because seeking an ever fairer and just society is the right thing to do, but it's also because a society torn by inequalities cannot possibly stand resilient in the face of a more turbulent world. So we will enhance our social support system to provide greater assurances to Singaporeans across all life stages, from early childhood to retirement. This means keeping essential services like education, healthcare, and housing accessible and affordable. It also means strengthening support for our seniors so they can live with dignity, purpose, and fulfillment. We will create more diverse and flexible pathways for Singaporeans to seek happiness, prosperity, and progress. Whether you are a student exploring career options, or a mid-career seeking to upskill, or a senior who wishes to continue contributing, there will be opportunities for you. Our aim is for every Singaporean to thrive and flourish on their own terms. We will deepen mutual understanding and respect between Singaporeans of different ethnic, religious, and social backgrounds, strengthening the bonds that unite us. When issues of race and religion surfaced in this election, we did not allow them to divide us. This shows how far we have come as a society. But it's also a reminder that we cannot take our racial and religious harmony for granted. We will continue to guard these fault lines carefully and redouble our efforts to build a society where everyone feels respected and valued and knows they truly belong. At the same time, we will look beyond the immediate concerns to prepare Singapore for the future. In particular, we will accelerate our transition to cleaner energy and adapt to the realities of climate change. We will transform our infrastructure and create smarter, more connected, and greener homes for all Singaporeans. We will build a global city that is dynamic and vibrant, yet distinctively Singaporean, a great place to live and one we are all proud to call home. Above all, we will work shoulder to shoulder with all Singaporeans to write this next chapter of our nation's story. We will continue to engage Singaporeans from all walks of life, to hear your hopes and concerns, and to reflect your voices in our policies. Beyond listening, we will actively involve you in creating and implementing solutions that matter to you and your families. This is how my team and I will govern, in partnership with Singaporeans. Everyone will have a say in shaping our way forward and building our shared future. For I firmly believe that a more open and engaged society will strengthen, not weaken Singapore. We are not afraid of differing views. We welcome constructive debates. They push us to think harder, plan better, and serve Singaporeans more effectively. But at the same time, we must always respect one another and remember that even with our differences, we share more in common with each other. This consciousness will make us a stronger, more resilient, and more united nation. History has not been kind to small nations like Singapore. We have always been vulnerable, caught between the interests of greater powers. Yet for 60 years, Singapore has defied the odds. This was never just a matter of good luck. It has always been about our courage, our conviction, and our collective will as one people. And as long as we continue to believe in ourselves, have faith in one another, and work together, we will endure. Singapore will endure. So be it SG 100 or even beyond, there will still be Singaporeans standing strong and free. And not only will we survive, we will prevail. And we will keep this little red dot shining brightly as a beacon of hope, resilience, and possibility. So my fellow Singaporeans, with courage, imagination, and new resolve, let us build a Singapore that is open, inclusive, and full of opportunities. Let us secure a brighter future for ourselves, our families, and for generations to come. Thank you.
Mr. President, may I have your permission to end the ceremony, sir? Guests are invited to proceed to the reception at the back of the hall. The President and the Prime Minister will join the reception shortly.
Want relief? Burning pain in the chest or stomach may be caused by heartburn, while stomach discomfort, nausea, and feeling bloated may be signs of indigestion. Take Gaviscon Double Action with natural seaweed. It works fast to neutralize excess acid and forms a protective barrier for lasting relief up to 4 hours. Use Gaviscon Double Action.
Good afternoon. I've called this press conference to announce my new cabinet lineup. I thank Singaporeans once again for giving me and my team a clear mandate to form the next government. With your strong support, I have done my utmost to assemble the strongest team I could for Singapore. A team comprising steady and experienced hands, as well as new and younger ministers. I will appoint 4 key cabinet ministers to assist me in my work. DPM Gan Kim Yong and 3 new coordinating ministers, K. Shanmugam, Chan Chun Seng, and Ong Ye Kung. They will oversee 4 critical areas: the economy, national security, public services, and social policies. Gan Kim Yong remains as Deputy Prime Minister. He will continue to coordinate our efforts on the economy, including his role as the chairman of the Singapore Economic Resilience Task Force. He continues with his other responsibilities, including as chairman of the MAS and the minister overseeing the strategy group in the Prime Minister's office. He will take on additional responsibilities, including overseeing our work on climate change and population. Shanmugam will take over Teo Chee Hean as the coordinating minister for national security. This is a critical role with far-reaching responsibilities because security threats are constantly evolving and safeguarding our safety and survival is essential. With his extensive experience in government, stretching from MFA to MHA, he is well placed to take on this new role. Chan Chun Seng will be appointed as Coordinating Minister for Public Services. This is about bringing together public services in a more accessible and integrated manner. We have improved on this front over the years, but there's still more to be done. For example, in coordinating a wide range of different amenities and facilities in our new housing estates. So Chan Chun Seng will coordinate and oversee these efforts. Ong Ye Kung will be appointed as Coordinating Minister for Social Policies. Reviewing and updating our social policies are a big part of Forward Singapore. We will press on with this effort to strengthen our social safety nets. But we also have to design our policies well and manage the trade-offs carefully. So Ye Kung will oversee these efforts. Next, let me go through the ministerial appointments across these 4 priority areas. First, the ministries that lead our economic agenda. We are operating in a changed world with rising trade barriers, sharper competition, and greater uncertainty. And we need experienced hands at the helm. So I'm keeping most of the ministers in their current roles during this critical period. I will continue to helm the Ministry of Finance. Indrani continues to assist me in MOF as 2M, Second Minister. And she will continue as Second Minister at MND and also the Minister in the PMO overseeing the population portfolio. She will also continue as Leader of the House. Gan Kim Yong remains at MTI. He will continue to be supported by Grace Fu, who will remain as the Minister in charge of Trade Relations. Tan See Leng will be appointed Minister in charge of Energy and Science and Technology at MTI. These are key areas for our economy. Science and technology is a key driver of growth, and energy, especially clean energy, will be an important part of this government's agenda. We will consider how we can better organize ourselves to accelerate our transition to clean energy. So See Leng will focus on these areas at MTI. He will also continue at MOM. He was sent there after the last election and he has made a difference. So he will continue with the work to translate growth opportunities into good jobs for Singaporeans. Josephine Teo will continue at MDDI. She is overseeing important work there, including our AI strategies, and she will also be the minister in charge of our Smart Nation initiative.
Mornings. Lots of this and that. But before mornings break you, break it with this. Yes, these. Let's get some KFC breakfast.
Our market insights help you spot the opportunities others miss. Ready to trade more of your world?
The government works closely with the tripartite partners in developing our economic strategies. And the PAP-NTUC symbiotic partnership anchors this tripartite partnership. The NTUC Secretary General has traditionally held a position in the Cabinet. I value this link, and I know the NTUC does too. Ng Chee Meng has requested not to be offered a position in government so that he can focus on his work in NTUC and Jalan Kayu. I respect his wishes. But to be clear, this is a temporary arrangement, and I look forward to having the Labour Chief being part of the Cabinet before too long. Meanwhile, my government will continue to work closely with the labour movement and will ensure that the views of NTUC and union leaders and the interests of Singapore workers are fully taken into account in our deliberations and decisions. In an increasingly complex and uncertain world, we also need a strong and experienced team across the ministries overseeing security issues, protecting our interests at home and abroad. So Vivian Balakrishnan will continue at MFA. He has represented Singapore ably and has forged close working relationships with counterparts worldwide. His counsel and extensive networks will be invaluable as I intensify my international engagements in this new term. Chan Chun Sing will take over from Ng Eng Hen as Defence Minister. He was Chief of Army and had served as 2M in MINDEF. He has deep operational experience and strategic insights, and I'm confident he will lead the ministry well and further strengthen Singapore's defence posture. Shanmugam will continue to helm MHA. It is a key ministry which oversees a broad spectrum of security operations. I've appointed Edwin as 2M, Second Minister at MHA. This will allow Edwin to gain experience and broaden his expertise and prepare him to assume greater responsibilities in due course. At MINLAW, Edwin has been 2M for some time before the GE. He has established himself well in the portfolio and will take over at MINLAW from Shanmugam. Edwin will also continue as Deputy Chairman at BA. Next, the ministries covering the key social areas. Ong Yi Kang will continue at MOH. He started many new national programs at the last term. Programs like Healthier SG, Age Well SG, which have major transformational impact on our society. He asked me to allow him to continue at MOH, and I've agreed so that he can see through these initiatives. Desmond Lee will take over from Chun Sing at MOE. Desmond brings a quiet but effective style of leadership. He listens actively and persistently, and he engages widely with stakeholders and takes decisive actions when needed. He will build on the good work done by predecessors to bring out the best in every child and to advance our culture of lifelong learning. David Neo will succeed Edwin Tong at MCCY, taking over as acting minister. David has had experience previously helming the Silver Generation Office, so he knows what it takes to build strong community bonds. I look forward to his contributions at MCCY, championing the arts and sports, engaging our youths, as well as our diverse community groups. Masagos will remain at MSF and will continue to be supported by Desmond Lee as the Minister in charge of Social Service Integration. Masagos will relinquish his appointment as Minister in charge of Muslim Affairs. I discussed with him and we agreed that it is time for a new generation of leaders to take over this portfolio. So I'm promoting Faisal Ibrahim to SMS and appointing him as acting Minister in charge of Muslim Affairs. Zaki Muhammad, who is currently the Deputy Chairman of Mendaki, will take over from Masagos as chairman of Mendaki. So Faisal and Zaki, together with other Malay Muslim office holders and MPs, will continue to engage the Malay Muslim community closely, building on the strong foundations we have today and working with the community to realize our shared goals. I will work closely with them too. Engaging the Malay Muslim community was a priority for me in the last term, and it will continue to be a priority in this new term of government. Finally, we have the ministries focusing on public infrastructure and services. Grace Fu will continue to helm MSE. Sustainability is becoming a more important part of our national agenda. It's not just about water security, it's also food security, as well as reducing our carbon footprint and adapting to global warming. There are many important projects which Grace has started and will continue to oversee at MSE. Chee Hong Tat will relinquish his portfolio at MOT and will take over from Desmond Lee at MND. This is a new area for him. It's an important portfolio that impacts all our lives, but he has done well at MOT, and I'm sure he will do a good job at MND too. Jeffrey Xiao will be appointed as acting minister in MOT. He is familiar with land transport policies from his past experience as a civil servant. Of course, there's much more to be done as a minister. He will be stretched and tested, but I'm confident he will be able to step up. In this round, we have 6 office holders retiring: Heng Swee Keat, Teo Chee Hean, Ng Eng Hen, Maliki Osman, as well as Heng Chee Hao and Amy Khor. They have all been valued members of the team, and I thank them again for their many years of contribution and service. Much has been said about the 4 ministers, Swee Keat, Chee Hean, Eng Hen, and Maliki. In fact, all 4 gave very good interviews to the media recently. I would like today to highlight and thank Chee Hao and Amy. Both have been mayors. They held MOS and SMS positions across different ministries, and in Chee Hao's case, in NTUC as well, where he was a pillar of strength to successive secretary generals. Both always just focused on serving and getting the job done. They never sought credit or fanfare. They are true servant leaders, as well as role models and inspiration for younger members of the team. So a big thank you to Chee Hao and Amy. I highlighted the promotion of Faisal Ibrahim earlier. I'm promoting 3 others, Murali Pillay and Sun Xueling to SMS, and Bae Yam Keng to MOS. I'm also appointing 9 new office holders from the backbench as well as from the new MPs. That's one of the highest in recent history, and it's because of the importance of leadership renewal. Desmond True and Zulkarnain will come in as MOS, and Desmond will continue to serve at NTUC. From amongst the new MPs, there are 7 office holders. I mentioned the 2 acting ministers just now, David and Jeffrey Xiao, and there are 5 others. Goh Pei Min, who will be MOS in MHA and MSF. Jasmine Lau, MOS in MOE and MDDI. She's here today in the panel. Dinesh, MOS in MCCY and MAM, also Mayor of Southeast. Syed Harun, SPS in MOE and MND, as well as Goh Han Yen, who will be SPS in MCCY and MSE. With this reshuffle, all the ministries will have new office holders, be it ministers, MOSs, or PALSECs. I'm doing this to give younger leaders more experience and exposure across different areas of government, so as to prepare them for greater responsibilities in the future. The full list of movements can be found in the annex to the press statement. This is my cabinet at the beginning of this new term of government, and as we embark on our next phase. The team is slightly bigger than what we had before because we are in transition. I expect to make further adjustments in 1 or 2 years' time when more of our junior office holders are ready to step up. I've done my best to put together an effective government to take Singapore forward in these uncertain and turbulent times. I ask Singaporeans to give me and my team your full support. We will do our best to serve you and to secure a brighter future for you and your families.
Agoda's 20th birthday sale is here. Buckle up for exclusive prices. Book now.
Fellow Singaporeans and members of the media, I'm calling this press conference in the middle of the campaign as Prime Minister because it concerns a matter of national interest. You would have seen MHA's press statement last night. As Prime Minister, I cannot emphasize this enough. Singapore's greatest strength is our unity across race and religion. It is the bedrock of our multiracial and multi-religious society. And this is not accidental. It is the result of painstaking hard work and patient effort by generations of Singaporeans. In the past few days, we have detected online activity by foreign actors urging Singaporeans to vote along religious lines. They say vote for so-and-so because he or she will better represent a particular race or religion. These foreigners targeted Singaporeans, and their social media posts were also widely shared within the Singaporean community. That crosses the line. Singaporeans may have different views about issues, but we cannot allow external actors to exploit whatever differences we may have to weaken us or to advance their own interests. Singapore's politics must be for Singaporeans alone to decide. And so we have blocked access to these posts. And we will continue to act firmly against any such actions. Foreign influence is one side of the coin. There are also other posts circulating online attempting to bring race and religion into politics. One example is a recent social media post by a Singaporean activist proposing that Muslims should vote for candidates that are willing to advance his religious agenda. These messages may be by Singaporeans, but we should also reject them. And were it a Christian, a Hindu or Buddhist group making the same demand, our response would be the same. Mixing politics with religion is unacceptable in Singapore. We have always taken a firm stance against this. First, it fractures the common space we share as Singaporeans. Second, once elections become contests of faith, all communities in our society will end up worse off. Third, external powers will seek to exploit these fault lines to advance their own agendas. And as we have already seen, these challenges and threats are very real. Now, this does not mean that we cannot engage and address the needs of our different communities or even talk about race and religion. I myself make a point to engage these different communities. I know it's harder for our minority groups, as it is in any multiracial society, and I'm grateful for their efforts in upholding our social compact in Singapore. The engagements I do help the government to better understand the concerns and needs of our diverse communities so that we can address concerns and issues in a way that expands our common ground and strengthens our society. But such engagements are very different from identity politics, which we should firmly reject. What is identity politics? Identity politics means candidates and MPs appealing for support on the basis of race or religion and championing the interest of that particular group over other groups and over everything else. That's dangerous, because when one group jostles aggressively to assert its identity, others will organize and start to jostle back. And you can see how this plays out in countries everywhere. You end up fueling our worst tendencies, hostilities, and vengefulness across society. No one wins when this happens. The minority groups will fail to get what they want because the majority group will push back strongly and the minorities will find their space constricted. At the same time, the majority group will also live in the most unhappy society, where every issue comes down to race and religion. So no one is happy, no one wins. And in the end, we will be more divided than before. And Singaporeans, all of us, will pay the price. So I call on all political parties to make their positions clear on this matter. This is not a partisan or party matter. This is a matter of national importance. In particular, I invite the leaders of all political parties to make their stand clear, not just on foreign interference, but on two fundamental principles. First, that identity politics has no place in Singapore. Second, that we should never mix religion and politics. At the end of the day, whatever our differences, we are all Singaporeans first and foremost. I thank Singaporeans of all races and religions for having supported this multiracial and multi-religious approach all this while, which has enabled us to build a successful and harmonious Singapore. I am confident that even now, the majority of Singaporeans across all racial groups support this approach. I ask Singaporeans to continue doing so. Then we can protect this oasis of peace and sustain our exceptional harmony for many more years to come.
Thank you, Prime Minister. We'll start now with questions. Let's hear from ST first. Thanks.
Hi, PM. Harris from Straits Times. PM, so you mentioned that you want opposition leaders to make their stand clear. If you could just help us understand a bit, what exactly do you want them to do, to affirm or denounce? Are you looking for a formal statement or some kind of specific actions? And given today's developments with the Workers' Party, for instance, and a religious teacher, Nur Daros, do you think they have been clear enough, or is a firmer position needed? Thank you.
I've seen the Workers' Party statement this morning. I've seen also statements from various political party leaders, but I've been running around. I've not caught up with all the latest developments. Generally, I have seen across the board clear consensus from all parties rejecting foreign interference in our elections. And I think that's good. I welcome that. I would like to perhaps make two additional points. One, on foreign interference, that there may be endorsements or support from entities or individuals overseas. We cannot control what other people say, fair enough, but should such endorsements or show of supports come about, I would like to suggest and call on all parties to clearly and categorically reject these endorsements. Because the fundamental principle is foreigners should not decide the outcome of our elections. This is our country, our elections. Singaporeans alone decide the outcome of our elections. Second, that there may be issues that potentially can undermine our national interest. Issues of foreign policy, where we say it's very clear politics should stop at the water's edge and we should have a sense of unity in presenting to the world. Or issues regarding race and religion, especially when it becomes